Hi everyone. So we are moving ahead with the first week plan as we discussed in the last video how we are proceeding with. So in the first week, let's see what we have. As per the guidance, we have like a plan for approximately 2 hours each weekend. So I'm making video as well, so I have already known few parts. So it will be a little bit of fast track. You can take suggestions, you can take good points and all, and you can start learning by yourself also because I'll be showing you how I am learning and what is the best way. I think the learning for me is right now because in the AI era, I'm not just using AI to write a code blindly and everything. So I'll be moving ahead with the topics that we are getting, and we'll be learning about those topics, and we'll be using those topics to build something useful, and then slowly we'll be moving ahead with a better structure, and better plan, and better project. So this is the first part. Uh, what we have to learn today is what front end back end mean. So front end is the UI part in the basics, and back end is the back end part that uh, talk between, like, that discuss between the server and the front end to show or give results to the user. So we'll be taking a better definition with the help of AI in just a couple of seconds. I'm just showing you what we have to learn today: how browser loads a website, and HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and file folder basics, VS Code basics, terminal, and all. Then we'll be moving on. So for now, I'm just going to do simply give it to another AI platform that I'm using. So I'm just going to ask, give me a better structure study. Okay, not like this. Okay, help me to understand these topics in best and easy way, like you are guiding person who doesn't understand anything with proper example, code, etc. So let's see what we're getting. Um, I'm using this because I think instead of finding a video and all and then guiding, learning those things, it will be very easy because most of the part I know. So just for the revision sake, so I think it will give me a better result. Like in a very simple language, it is going to help me out because I know I tried this out many times because it gives us a very good response. So let's see what we are getting. So the first part is that how web works, the restaurant analogy. So that is an example. For example, we are in a restaurant, so the front end. So this is like dining room or the menu, the table that we see. So that is comes under the front end because you enter in a restaurant and you see a lot of stuff, chairs, tables, menus, everything that you can see as a front end, like the decoration part and the button, text images, the layout, whatever you see there. And the back end is, this is the kitchen, so that serves and that cook food for you, the pantry, the chefs that cook food, that make useful things for you. So but you are not able to see those things because you don't know. Like if it's a very simple restaurant, then you might see the chef is cooking something, but it's a good restaurant, then you'll be able to see that kitchens are separate and not other people can enter into it without any permissions and all. So that is the backend part. And they hold the like ingredients such as data in our example, and lift in and prepare the food, and how browser loads the website. So for example, we tried google.com or anything like youtube.com or anything in our browser. So think of it like placing order with a waiter. So we have a, so this is example of server client structure. So we'll be coming ahead in a few minutes. So let's see first, like we as a client, so we tell the browser that we want a website. For example, we entered www.google.com. So we ask the browser that we wanted to see the website. So what, browser send a request across the internet to a powerful computer called server, the kitchen here. So the request went to the server, and then server gathers the files needed to display the website. For example, let's say while building website, we have a folder or directory called index.html. So it will gather that file that need to be served to the client. So after that, our browser will read those files and draw the web page on our screen. For example, HTML, CSS. In JavaScript, it will load the complete page. This is the server client structure, where this is the server. Client sends the request, server gets the request, and then server sends back the response. So request comes from the server, request comes from the user to server, server reads the request, server gives response back to the user, and user sees the like response or the answer. So that is it, a very basic structure. Client asks something, server read that request what they actually want, and then server gather information or gather those things what client wants, and if they get useful informations, they serve or they give response back to the client what they wanted to see. So the first big three part that we wanted to see is here HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, because it's a base of this plan. So when a server sends a file back to the browser, it usually sends a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that I told you before only. So HTML, what is HTML? It's a hypertext markup language. It's not actual high-level programming language. It just says as markup language, but you will see eventually that people are just making a fun of HTML as a language, but it's not actually. So it's like, in a simple term, it's like a brick, the wall or the roof. For example, if someone is building building any architecture, then you are using bricks to make a wall and then roof everything. So that is it. Like this is a title, or in a real term. So this is mentioned here, like this is the title, or this is a paragraph. For example, if I inspect this tab, so if you can see this is h2, so it means this is the heading. The HTML is serving only, and this is the paragraph. So that is it. So like these things you will be able to see. So that HTML serves those things, and then CSS, that is called as cascading style sheets. That is an interior design. For example, once your structure is built, so you wanted to make it a style and make it a beautiful, so used CSS for that. So like the way you are seeing this text in a formatted way, that is only because of CSS. And then JavaScript, that is electricity or the plumbing, you can say. For example, if you want a water point at the bottom of your architecture from the top, then you like run the water through a pipe. So that pipe and other thing, that will be served as a JavaScript that makes house interactive. For example, if someone on the inverter, then electricity flows throughout the house, so that type of thing. So for example, if you click any button on the website, that open another page or something like that, so that is only help with the JavaScript. So when a user click on this button, open a pop-up or fetch a new tweets without refreshing the page or something like that, that comes under the JavaScript capacity. So here are other things, like how our digital workspace should looks like. So before we can build any website or something, we should have files and folders. Like our computer organizes data. We have a VS Code, that is IDE, that we are going to use to write code or something in the terminal to run the files and other thing. And here are a few basic terminal commands. pwd, that like print a working directory. We come here, we like right here pwd, so that is the directory. But I'm moving ahead with cd. I think we have made something in documents. Okay, cd, project name, full stack and mobile development. Okay, full stack and mobile development. Okay, too many arguments, so I'm going to copy its name directly. Hopefully it will work. Okay, see now cd, we are in this folder. Now we are doing this. What is the command? Is pwd, print working directory. So this is the directory name, full stack and mobile development. Another command is list. So ls, that shows every folder or every file in our directory has. Right now there is no folder, so that's why it's coming as empty. And cd like change directory, for example, that we move from base folder to documents, and then documents to mobile app development. So with clear, we are clearing this. So let's make a directory one, make directory, for example, let's say make app. So now if I'm going to list this ls, then we have an app directory here in this folder. So with the help of make directory, mkdir directory, so we are going to make folders of files. And git is used for the time travel. For example, let's say in lame words only, like if you are playing a video game, so before we walk in a boss fight, like you save your game. So if you lose, you don't have to start the whole game over, you just reload your save points. So git does this exact same thing, but for your code it tracks your changes. So if you accidentally break your website, you can easily go back to the previous save point. For example, you made a website and then you pushed that website over the internet, and then you thought about something like we wanted to update something, then again you updated it and you pushed those changes again. So you have 2 points now, one you made earlier and one you made now, and somehow you saw that your website got break. So what you will do, you will terminate your new like commit that you did, so that your first commit should be saved. So git will help you in that, so that you should not lose the track. That doesn't mean that if you made the second update, so your first update should be vanished. So your first update should also be there, so that in any case if your second update doesn't work, then first update should work. So git will help you in that. So repository, that usually called as repo, is a main folder like where project lives, and commit is a specific save point. It's a snapshot of your code at the exact moment in a time. Basic command is that git init, that is git initialize. Like we only type this once per project to initialize the git, and the status is to like what's going on. This tells like which file has been changed, which file has been added, deleted, everything. Git add will help you to add those changed files to save, so that you can commit it, and in the end we commit those files to the folder repo. There are other commands as well, for example checkout for the branching, and git merge and git diff and all. So we'll be looking at those ahead also later on. So that is it, but we can initialize this, I think. Let me just check what is the config. Git config user dot email. Okay, git is not here. Git init initializing an empty git repository. Okay, git config user name, thing is here. Now if I see git status on branch main, no commit set, nothing. Git add, git status on branch main, no commit yet. So git commit minus I for initialize git project. There is no configuration and destination, so you can see. So for that we need a git. We need a git directory somewhere to initialize it, but there is no directory because we do not configure the git. So what we are going to do, we are going to give this to AI so that it can help us. So we are learning, so let's see how it gives us. Now it will help me to create a git directory. So these are the basic commands that we already have. So it is going to us, give us the scenario, another thing, and the plan, like how we can initialize the git with a folder and we can push those changes there. So see, the nothing in the commit issue. So we run a git add and git commit. Git looked at our folder essentially and said, wait, there are no files here to save. So you cannot create a save point. Commit directory is completely empty. So the no configured push destination issue. So you successfully created a local repository on your computer git init, but you haven't told git where to add on the internet, like git or push something. So here is exactly what we have to do. So touch will help me to create a file. So I'll just create this touch empty. Unless we have one folder file, and then if so we have to save the file. Now you can see we have one change you can see untracked file, that is readme.md. Now git add with dot, every file that got changed will be added. Now the next command will be git commit -m added file. So core is initialize the project, will be fine. So we have now committer is my name and email address and other things. So after doing this, you may fix that entity, use for commit and other things. So we are ready now. So we just need to push it to the internet. So now we have to go to the GitHub or wherever we wanted to host our code, and we need to create a new repository and copy its URL, and then link your local folder to the online repository by running this git remote add origin. So after that only we can push our code. So let's see how it works now. So we just need to go to GitHub. So we'll be going to GitHub fast. GitHub. So this is my GitHub account for now. We'll be going to repositories. I'll be creating new one. Full stack. Development. Description I can ignore for right now. I'll be creating a repository. So repo is created. This is the URL you can see. Now I'm going to use this give to AI. So this is the URL. Help me to commit. We already completed the git commit. So I given this, and it will be going to give the other steps which we can follow to complete the initialization of the git and pushing our repo to the internet. So see, it is giving me this git remote origin https the thing. So clear git remote add origin, and all. Origin is something that tells us like from where you have to push everything. So once this will be initialized, we can just simply push it like git push origin main, that origin file is that from where we need to originate. So once I'll do this, now it's added. So once it's added, now we can push our file like git push origin and main. So origin is highlighted as this rep only. So we should not need to write this again and again. So we are just adding it at once. So once it is completed, so it means origin is now this repo. So while pushing again and again, whenever in future, we just need to write this git push minus origin main. So I will do this. Now it is pushing every changes. So we'll come here first. I'll see readme file is already here, and git repo is initialized. So I think first part is completed. So in this, this is here, you can see what we did. We created a file, we listed those files, readme.md. We checked the status, there is a one file added, readme.md. We then added this so that we can track what are the changes going on, and then we committed this project. Core is simply something like that. We are initializing a project, and this is not a feature or something, and we are not going to change this in future also. So this is just highlighting like what we are committing while building any feature. We'll be writing feat, and there are other features also. For example, fix, if there is any bug fix, so we'll be writing fix here. So this will help us to understand better like what we did here, like what changes here. So if you can see here, core initialize the project. So this is it. So like if we will be changing or if we will be creating any feature in future, so we'll be writing feat, so that will show that in this file or something we added some feature. So that will help us to track better. So that Git helps us in all those things very well. uh, let's see if we have anything else remaining in first week. So if we come here, okay, like published working directory, we already saw ls list cd, like change directory, make directory. We initializes git, we check the status, git add, git commit. So as you can see, we do not need to memorize everything, understand what each command does. So git initializes our repository, like to track files, not repository actually, but yes, our current folder. Status just help us to check what is going on. Git add or like flag every changes, what happened and all, add it to the track so that we can push it to the like origin or main directory. So we already did it. We pushed it over the repository. We created a repo and we pushed the file, just a readme file, not a complete index HTML CSS script. So I think that is it. We already done with first week. So we'll see in first day. So we'll be meeting in next day. Just be there.